Focus on really rotating open towards the ceiling as you rotate towards that bent leg. You want to think about engaging your back to really open up your chest. Hey guys, it's Corey from Redefining Strength, and today I want to share with you 7 exercises to improve your mobility and flexibility from head to toe. These are 7 great moves to include in your warm-up to activate underactive muscles and stretch out overactive and shortened muscles while improving your joint mobility. Exercise number 1 is heel walks. This is a great exercise to improve your ankle mobility while working on your dorsiflexion, so the ability to draw your toes up toward your shin. If you've ever had shin splints, if you want to improve your squat depth, if you want to improve your running gait, this is a really key move to include in your warm-up. This will activate those underactive muscles while stretching out your calves. To do heel walks, you'll rock back on your heels, lifting your toes up towards your shin. You'll then walk around on your heels, keeping your toes off the ground. You can also stand in one place or even march in one place if you don't have a lot of space. You can do this for time or for a set distance. Improving our ankle mobility can help us prevent ankle, knee, hip, and even lower back aches and pains. Exercise number 2 is the downward dog to runner's lunge. This is a great stretch to improve your spinal extension, work on your hip mobility, and activate your glutes and even your upper back. It's even a great way to work on your ankle mobility. This is a great exercise to include in your warm-up because it mobilizes your joints as it gets your blood pumping. As you drive your heels down, really press your chest back. You want to focus on extending your spine. We spend so much time in spinal flexion that it's really key we work on our spinal extension, especially if we have any overhead pressing movements in our workouts. Working on our spinal extension will help us prevent neck and shoulder aches and pains during any pressing movements, but also improve our posture. From downward dog, you'll step one foot outside your hand. You'll move into a runner's lunge. In this lunge position, really squeeze the back glute. This will help drive your hip into extension while activating your glutes. So if you want to improve your hip mobility, this is a really key exercise to include. If you can't step your foot all the way outside your hand, you can adjust or even drop your back knee down. This lunge is a great way to improve your hip mobility. You'll then want to step back and repeat the movement, lunging on the other side. When you lunge, it's really key that you engage your glute. You don't want to just arch your lower back or sort of rest on your hip flexors. You want to use that glute to drive hip extension. The key to improving our mobility and flexibility long-term is engaging those underactive muscles. And usually when we have tight hips, it means engaging our glutes. Beginners can start out by dropping the back knee when they lunge or even do this move off a bench. When you step into that runner's lunge, really make sure to engage your upper back to pack your shoulders. This will support your shoulders so you're not shrugging. Exercise number 3 is the tabletop bridge. This is a great glute activation move that actually opens up your entire anterior chain or the entire front side of your body. If you want to open up your chest, improve your shoulder mobility while also activating your glutes and improving your hip extension, this is a key move to include. This is a stretch that also activates those underactive muscles and really works to activate your backside. If you're spending a ton of time seated at your computer, this is a must-do move in your warm-up. When you set up for this move, turn your hands out to the side. This will help you open up your shoulders as you bridge up. Squeeze your glutes to drive your hips into extension and engage your upper back to open up your chest. You want to use those underactive muscles to drive the stretch that you feel. Make sure you're not arching your lower back as you lift up, but even using a posterior pelvic tilt to engage your abs. The posterior pelvic tilt or tilting of your pelvis will also help you engage your glute max more. If you struggle to feel your glutes during this move, you can even add a band right below or above your knees. This will help you engage your glute medius to get your glute max to fire better. Beginners can also start with their hands up on a bench if they have more restricted shoulder mobility. Just really focus on driving your chest open and your hips up as you bridge up and focus on feeling your back and your butt engaged to drive the movement. Exercise number 4 is the wings chest stretch. If we truly want to improve our mobility and flexibility, we've got to activate those underactive muscles as we stretch those overactive shortened ones. So in the case of our chest, we really want to activate our upper back to help open up our chest and improve our posture. The wings chest stretch is a great way to engage your upper back as you stretch out your chest. You'll stretch out your chest and activate your back by moving your shoulder blades towards your spine. You're working on scapular retraction. This will also help improve your scapular stability to improve your shoulder health and protect your neck, shoulder, and upper back from aches and pains. To do this move, you want to put your hands on the back of your head. You then want to think about bringing your elbows together before spreading them as wide apart as you can. Think about initiating the movement from your back. You want to think about drawing your shoulder blades towards your spine. If this feels like too much pressure, you can put your hands on the side of your head instead. This pushes your shoulders into external rotation. You can also do a variation of this by putting your hands on your lower back to put your shoulders into internal rotation. Both are a great way to open up your anterior chain and really activate your back. This is a key move to include whether or not you're doing pulling movements or pressing movements in your workouts. We don't often think about it, but it's really key that we have proper scapular mobility and stability during things like our push-up and overhead press. You need to make sure that you have proper posture so you can really properly press overhead. If you have rounded shoulders, you might want to stick with your hands behind your head to really work on that shoulder external rotation. Exercise number 5 is the Cobra Wings. This is a great move to activate your upper back, improve your posture, and even work on your shoulder mobility. You'll even get your glutes engaged to protect your lower back as you hold in that lifted position. This takes that basic Cobra movement that works on spinal extension and adds in a great shoulder mobility element. This is a key move to include before any of your upper body workouts. To do this exercise, you'll lie face down on the ground. You then want to focus on lifting your chest slightly up off the ground, extending your spine. Reach your hands overhead and then slowly bring one arm down by your side. As you bring your arm down by your side, you're going to internally rotate your shoulder. This is a great way to work on that shoulder mobility as you keep your spine in extension. Feel your upper back working as you stay lifted. If this is too much pressure on your lower back, make sure to engage your glutes or even try this movement from a hinged position instead of lying face down on the ground. Exercise number 6 is the Inchworm. This is an advanced but oh so amazing full body stretch that will really warm everything up and get your blood pumping. This move is a great way to work on your glute activation, core stability while really stretching out everything from head to toe. To do this move, you want to think about keeping your legs as straight as possible as you walk out before dropping your hips. When you drop your hips to the ground and really arch open towards the ceiling, you want to make sure you're engaging your glutes to drive your hips into extension. You don't want to just arch your lower back as you drop your hips to the ground. As you drop your hips, make sure to really press the ground away. You don't want to shrug your shoulders because you don't want to cause any extra neck or shoulder pain. This can also really help you establish that mind body connection to the ground. So if you're doing any push-ups in your workout, this is a great way to really strengthen that foundation. Because this is an advanced movement, often when we lack mobility, we'll allow our knees to bend as we walk out. But instead of doing a bent knee walkout, use a bench to actually reduce the range of motion that you're working through. You can place your hands down on the bench and then step your feet back before dropping your hips. Make sure to really engage your glutes to protect your lower back and drive your hips into extension. You'll then step your feet in before you stand up. But this is a great way to not sort of compensate and bend your knees as you walk out. It also reduces the amount of pressure on your shoulders, which means it requires less upper body strength if you're still working on shoulder stability. Exercise number 7 is the side lunge with the rotation. This is a great exercise to work on your spinal mobility as you stretch your adductors and activate your glutes, working in that hip hinge position. You'll move from side to side, staying low in that lunge to really stretch out your inner thighs as you rotate towards that leg you're bending. That will help you work on your spinal mobility and improve your thoracic rotation. You want to work on this mobility, especially if you've been seated at a computer for long hours. This is a great way to activate your glutes as you actually work on that hip hinge movement pattern. You really want to focus on sitting your butt back as you sit into that side lunge. Make sure that you're not pivoting your feet as you lunge from side to side. Stay as low as you can to really stretch out and open everything up. Beginners might not sink as low in the lunge and they might not touch the ground as they rotate. Really think about opening your chest up towards that bent knee. Focus on really rotating open towards the ceiling as you rotate towards that bent leg. You want to think about engaging your back to really open up your chest. Using these 7 exercises, you can improve your mobility and flexibility and create a great full body warm-up that can help you not only move better and feel better in your workouts, but help you avoid injuries and aches and pains. If you like the video, make sure to like it, comment below if you have any questions, and subscribe. We're posting new videos each week. And check the video description for a great full body warm-up to use using these moves.